I want to talk quickly about what is infertility. According to WHO, there's a definition for what infertility is all about. And this is a couple's inability to get pregnant after 12 months of unprotected sexual intercourse with no underlying issue. So 12 months of sexual intercourse, keywords that I'll be picking out from this definition according to WHO, that's the World Health Organization. 12 months of unprotected sexual intercourse, 12 months of protected sexual intercourse and underlying issues. Those three keywords or phrases, I'll highlight on them quickly during this conversation. Now, 12 months. Age is a factor when we're looking at this issue of 12 months. Now, for women, egg quality begins to decline, quantity begins to decline once you hit the 28-year-old mark. It's gradually starts to decline. And by the time you're 35 years old, your reserve would have diminished quite a bit. There would have been a gradual or rapid decline rather. So by the time you're 35. However, if you're in your 20s, say 25 years old, then you don't really need to rush for help yet, because the chances are that by the time you hit 26 years old, you'll be pregnant. Because according to statistics, about 80 to 85% of couples trying to conceive after 12 months get pregnant. 90% get pregnant after 24 months, that's after 2 years. 95% get pregnant after 3 years of trying to conceive. So if you are still under that 28-year-old mark, you might not need to rush into. One advice I'll give is that don't let your sexual intercourse be all about trying to conceive. Enjoy yourselves and just let it flow, while you put other factors into consideration like your lifestyle, and environmental factors. Now, if you are in your 30s and after 12 months of trying to conceive, it hasn't happened, then I would advise that you start seeking help because of egg quality and quantity. Okay, so that's mainly on the female part. Now, the other keyword I would like to talk about will be, or the key phrase I would like to talk about is unprotected sexual intercourse. If you're trying to conceive, you would want to avoid using lubricants because not all lubricants are sperm friendly. Okay, so I know at a point in time, sexual intercourse can begin to get painful, and you're looking for alternatives or ways to make it more pleasurable. But that's not the discuss for today. But you want to check the lubricants that you're using very well and be sure that it is sperm friendly, that it's not killing off the sperm cells going inside your female reproductive tract. Then the last key phrase I would like to address is no underlying issues, and this goes both ways. For the male partner, you want to be sure that there are no issues with the production of sperm cells. The hormones are okay, testosterone is okay, FSH is okay, no issues at all with that. Number two, you want to be sure that there's production of sperm cells because men produce sperm every day. So you want to be sure that, there's production going on in the scrotum when it happens, when sperm production happens. Number three, you want to be sure that there are no genetic issues that could even be causing the hormones not to function or no production of sperm cells. Right? Because if there are genetic issues, if a pregnancy occurs, it's most likely that that child will be carrying genes for this genetic issue. And sometimes this is the reason why miscarriages happen. Early miscarriages or within the first trimester will happen. Now, another thing is that you want to be sure that the delivery of the sperm cell into the female reproductive tract is fine. So we're saying there is no retrograde ejaculation, there are no issues, there's no erectile dysfunction. So because that's another reason for infertility. Last but not the least is the sperm cells themselves. Are they okay? Structurally, are they okay? When we look at it through the microscope, are we seeing a sperm cell? Are we seeing sperm cells with a single head that is not round but almost oblong looking? Are we seeing a sperm cell with one middle piece, with one neck? Are we seeing sperm cells with one tail? When you have structural anomalies with the sperm cell, then there could be an issue with conceiving. Looking at the count, according to the WHO gold standard, you should be looking at, you're trying to get pregnant, you should be looking at sperm parameters in counts, not concentration now, in counts. You should be looking at about 36 to 40 million sperm cells per male. That's very important because if you have those sperm counts, there might be an issue with conceiving naturally. If you're conceiving through any of the medically assisted productive techniques, that might not be an issue. But if one conceived naturally, you should be looking at a count of 36 to 40 million sperm cells per male. Next, we are looking at the speed of the stem cells. How fast do they move? Are they moving forward? Are the stem cells sluggish? Right? Because speed is important. Because in trying to conceive, once the egg is released, you want stem cells around that can be attracted to the stem cells, they're attracted to each other and be able to swing. Not more so the speed, but how they move. So are they moving forward? Okay, not like they are moving zigzag. Are they moving forward? That's what we are looking at in the fertility laboratory. The ratio of, like I explained earlier on, the ratio of their structural features have more abnormal cells than normal stem cells in the ejaculate. So those are the things that we're looking at. So if the male partner doesn't have any of these issues, then you can say that, okay, we are good. I'm still talking about the underlying factors, no underlying factors in the definition of infertility. Now, for the female part, we're going to start from the lower part upwards of the female reproductive tract. So, starting from the vagina, that is sperm ejaculate or semen ejaculate in the go upwards to the cervical tract. So, we want to be sure that the cervix, there are no polyps, there are no blockages, there are no fibroids at the cervix. The pH of the cervical canal, rather, it's good. It's not too acidic. It's not too alkaline. Cervical mucus is fantastic. It's not too thick. Okay, because if it is too thick, that might be a problem, because the cervical mucus is supposed to be like a sieve for stem cells to swim through. It's supposed to be a transport medium for stem cells to swim upwards. Okay, then we're looking at the uterus, we're looking at the womb. Is there any scarring? Are there adhesions? Because scarring is like when you have an injury on your skin. You know, the way it is, that particular part, because of inflammation and all of the natural process that's gone on to heal that place, there'll be a scar, which is smooth. It's smoother than what your normal skin would look like. So if you're having that on the surface of the womb, it might be difficult for implantation to take place. Are there polyps? Are there fibroids? The presence of fibroids should not deter conception or implantation, depending on the location of the fibroid. So not every fibroid that is in the or sitting on the endometrium of the uterus. So we are looking at that as well. Then we move on to the fallopian tube, left and right fallopian tubes. Are they open? Okay, and are they free? Okay, open and free, such that sperm cells can swim through, and then when fertilization occurs, the ensuing embryo can move down from the fallopian tube to go implant in the uterus. So that is what we are looking at. Next, we are looking at the fimbriae of the fallopian tubes. Are they able to pick up, eggs from the ovary when it comes out, right? And then you're looking at the ovaries. Are they maturing eggs? Because your eggs are already there. You don't produce new eggs. Do you have eggs in there that can mature or are able to go through the natural process of maturation? Do you have that there? So those are the factors that we're looking at internally. Then we're looking at hormones at every point of your cycle. Do you have adequate FSH? Do you have adequate progesterone? Do you have adequate estrogen? Do you have adequate LH? Do you have prolactin issues? Those are the things that you're looking at hormonally. And we also look at your immunology, which might not be an immediate check, but you're looking at your immunology. Are you having immunological issues like autoimmune disease, which for some, it might be very, very borderline. So they cannot be placed in between that, oh, you have such and such disease, because the symptoms, they do not exhibit the symptoms. They're very, very mild. However, if fertilization takes place or pregnancy pregnancy happens, the symptoms will just flare up. They might not even know it, but it's just their immune system is unable to accommodate it. Hence the reason for recurrent miscarriages. I do have any immunological autoimmune disease. I've also spoken about the hormonal part, which is the endocrinology aspect as well. And then genetics, because you have some X-linked chromosomal abnormalities as well that could be carried on by the child and could cause a miscarriage or could cause poor embryonic development. So because nature abhors vacuum, nature doesn't like what is abnormal. So that's why one of the reasons why miscarriages occur. So if the genetics are not right in the embryo, then it might not go on to develop properly to the baby. So those are the underlying issues that could be the reason for infertility. If a couple doesn't have any of these underlying issues and they've been having unprotected sexual intercourse for 12 months, then, and conception is not happening, pregnancy is not happening, then we can now say that they are going through infertility. Now, there are different types of infertility, which I would like to talk about some other time. So stay tuned to the pages, Niger Fertility Educator and the Fertility Educator. There are two different pages. I'll repeat it, Niger Fertility Educator, the Fertility Educator, where I will talk more about infertility, male factor infertility, female factor infertility. So that's a quick one for me to you, and have a lovely day ahead. If you have any questions as regards this, you can send me a DM on any of the two pages that I've mentioned. Right. Have a lovely day. Bye for now.